Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. I'm super excited. Today we have a brand new 2025 Ford Maverick and we've installed the 23-inch slim curved light bar into the grille. Alright, let's get started. Let's go ahead and start taking out these small screws first. These are 7mm. So now we're going to take out 4 10mm screws that are holding the top plate. So now we're on the driver's side and we're going to remove 3 7mm screws that are holding this plastic trim piece. And we're going to remove all these push pins so that way we can peel this liner and get to the bolts that are holding the fender to the bumper. So now let's go ahead and remove these push pins. So just pry it with a screwdriver and get the head up, and then you can take off the push pin. So now that we removed all the push pins, I recommend pointing the tire towards the passenger side just to give yourself a little space. And we're going to be removing 3 screws that are holding the fender to the bumper. They're vertical screws going from the top bottom, 1 on the edge, 1 down the middle, and 1 closest to the headlight. So they're also 10mm, and I'm going to take them out. That's 1. That's 2. And that's the 3rd one. So now we can separate the bumper from the fender. If you just pry it down, there's going to be a clip here that's holding everything together. Just get a prying tool and just pull it in between each other. This is the one I was talking about. So this is the screws that we removed. That's 1, 2, and 3. And there's these 2 guiding inserts and there's 1 clip. So let's do the same thing on the passenger side. So now we're on the passenger side. We tilted the wheels towards the driver and we're going to remove 7mm screws. And now we're going to remove these push pins. Alright, so let's take a look. So here we have the 3 10mm screws that we're going to remove. So now that we're working on the passenger side, there is a wiring harness here that you want to unclip, and this will disconnect all the electronics in the front end to the rest of the truck. So what we're going to do, there's a red pin, you pull it towards yourself until it clicks, and then you just squeeze and pull. So now we're going to separate the bumper from the fender. There we go. Alright, so now we're underneath the truck, so we're going to be unscrewing all the T30 bolts that are separating the bumper from like the undercarriage. So the last 2 things that are holding the whole front end on, there's 2 little hooks here. I've noticed that if you lift on the bumper and kind of raise it a little bit, you do have a little bit of easier way to get them unclipped. See? So if you look on the bottom of it, it kind of has a little notch here and it kind of locks in place. So let's do the same thing on the passenger side. So I'm going to tilt the bumper up a little bit and just kind of pry it out of there. Pull on it a little bit until it snaps off. And the last step is to actually remove the front end. So now that we have the front bumper off, we can install the M&R light bar. So the light bar is going to sit right here. It's going to be the bottom slit of the grille. And then we're going to use these 2 bolts on each side for our M&R brackets. So this is how the brackets look like, and this is a driver side and this is passenger. So we're going to use these 2 bolts to hold our M&R bracket. We're going to remove the factory hardware, we're going to slide the M&R bracket, and we're going to reinstall the hardware, but we're not going to tighten it all the way because there's still going to be some adjustability that's needed. So we're just going to finger tighten them. Reinstall the factory hardware here. The actual bolts that's going to be holding the light bar on the sides here, we're going to install after we get the proper spacing when the light bar is installed in between the 2 brackets. So where we're using factory bolts, there's absolutely no drilling or cutting required. I'm going to take out the 2 hardware. We're going to mock up the light bar. And we're going to finger tighten the bolts. So now that the brackets are installed and you have the light bar in between the tabs, we can secure it with the provided hardware. And now we can tighten the factory bolts that are holding the M&R bracket. So let's see how it looks like and get it installed back on the truck. I love the placement. The LEDs clear and are right above this line. So it makes it a very discreet and stealthy look. It's gonna look awesome. Alright, so let's get this installed back on the truck. So we're installing the grill back on. We're gonna latch them in these 2 clips first. And also notice that the wiring is gonna be on the corner here coming out, so that way we can wire it up. So let me show you how to clip in the bottom. When securing the bottom, there's a plastic horizontal trim piece. What we're going to want to do, get some kind of a molding tool and wedge it, you'll be able to prop it up and get the light bar to sit underneath it. So there it is. And there's a clip here that clips in. So as you can see, this is that trim piece that I was talking about. You just have to get the light bar underneath it. Don't use a screwdriver because it might scratch something. So I like the plastic trim removal tools. So you're just gonna pick it, kind of raise it up a little bit. You can see it's pretty flimsy. You can raise it fairly easy. Just kind of like prop it and get the light bar to sit right underneath. So now that this part is all clicked in, we're gonna follow a reverse order of how we remove the front end to put everything back to normal. So in terms of wiring, we ran it on the side of the grille. It comes out right next to the headlight, and we wanted it on the driver's side because that's where the positive terminal is for the battery. Because this Maverick is not equipped with factory auxiliary switches, we're going to use the M&R wireless wiring harness 1.0 that can be purchased separately on our website. Let me show you what you get with the kit and how to use it. Alright, so let's see what's inside the box. There's an instruction manual, there's a sticker sheet, there's the actual wireless harness, a remote, a power wire with a fuse, a ground wire, generic L brackets that you can use to mount the module, and you get the charging wire for the remote. So now I'm going to show you how to assemble it. I'm going to use a Phillips screwdriver to remove the 4 screws that are holding the top place of the module. And now you can see all the different circuits. You have 8 different channels. 2 of them are 5 amps, 2 of them are 10 amps, 2 of them are 20, and 2 of them are 30. There is a plus sign here. This is where the positive terminal goes, and this is the ground. Alright, so I'm going to loosen these 2 terminals. We're going to do the positive wire first. We're going to get it underneath. There's a slot here. The main reason you want to do that is that when the top goes on, you can have the wire going underneath it. And we're just going to secure this terminal, and we'll do the same thing with the ground. We're going to go underneath it. Bam. Just kind of route the wire to the side. And now we can secure the ground. So now we're back in the engine bay, and I'm going to show you how to connect the assembled wireless wiring harness. So usually these 2 cables get connected to the positive and the negative terminal of the battery, but in this case the Maverick doesn't have a battery in the engine bay. So if you look right next to the fuse box, there's a little red box. So what this is a positive terminal from the battery, even though the battery is not in the engine bay. So I'm going to open up this box, and if you look at the stem right here, so this stem actually has 12 volts. I tested it with a voltmeter. So we have the positive wire here, and what we're going to do, we're going to stagger 2 nuts to actually sandwich it on that bolt, and it's going to hold the terminal in place. So after testing this rod, it's a 5/16 thread pitch. So I got 2 nuts. I'm going to actually bolt one on, and these are nylon ones, so they're going to be nice and snug. So now I'm going to get a second 5/16 bolt, and I'm going to thread it on top, and that's going to sandwich our terminal from the wireless wiring harness. So what I can do here, I can put this in between the 2, but before we send power to the wireless harness, I like to actually disengage the fuse, so that way there's no electricity going through it. So right now it's in line, so it's showing that there's power going through to the module if it's connected to a ground source and a ground. I want to break that contact. So like this means that there's no power going through it. So now I'm going to take this terminal, put it in between the 2 nuts, and I'm going to tighten it. So now you can see those 2 sandwich nuts, they're holding this wire in place, and it's not loose, and it's providing 12 volts to our wireless harness. So now we have to ground the black wire on the module, and there's a couple of places on the chassis here on the bottom that you can ground it to. Loosen up that 8mm bolt. We're going to slide the terminal underneath it, and I'm going to tighten it. Awesome. Okay, so now that we have the positive and the negative connected to the module, now it's time to pair the remote to the module. So as we turn the fuse back on, now there's power going to it. We're going to press number 5 key 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, and this starts blinking. That means that the remote is paired with the module. So now that the remote is connected to the module, let's go ahead and connect the light bar. So now let's go over the wiring of the light bar. If you purchase a dual function light bar, your light bar comes with powerful white light as well as amber daytime running light. It's like a low intensity amber DRL. So you're going to have 2 different power sources. The red wire is going to be the power for the main function, which is the powerful white light. The white wire is going to be the amber DRL, daytime running light. The black wire is going to be the ground. So if you purchase a single function light bar, your light bar is going to have only 2 wires. The red wire is going to be the positive wire for either the white or the amber function, and then the black is going to be the ground. So let's go ahead and get this connected to the module. So we're going to go ahead and connect the main function, the red wire, to channel number 2. It's a 30 amp max rating. Small screwdriver just to open the terminal. I'm going to get my wire in there and I'm going to tighten it. So that's going to be button number 2 is going to provide power for the main function of the light, which is white. And then I'm going to go ahead and ground it right here. And there's a positive and negative for every channel. We only have one negative to ground, but what it does, it bridges all the grounds together and connects them to this black wire, which is grounded on the chassis of the vehicle. So I want to show you that I have the red and the black wire in these terminals, and then the amber DRL function, I actually want to put it on channel number 7, and that's just based on where we want it on the remote. So now that I know our wiring is connected properly, I'm going to go ahead and close this up and we're going to mount it. And we're going to use supplied hardware that we removed in the previous step to secure the top. So one common question that we get is where to attach this power distribution box. So on each side of the box you have these little holes. You can either use zip ties and zip tie it to some kind of a harness, or you could actually drill through some plastic or anything in order to make it secure. So I'm actually going to use zip ties and go along the fender frames. Alright, nice and stationary. So let's go ahead and test it. Button number 2 is going to turn on the powerful white light, and then button number 7, that's going to turn on the amber backglow. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, learned something, and got all the confidence that you need to install this product yourself. You guys are going to absolutely love it.